Okay, here's a quick description of Dave over-engineering the water faucet. What I have here is a Delta kitchen faucet that I bought the other day at my local home store, and I've hooked it up to a hose, so I've got water and $2.50 fitting that goes from half straight pipe, which is what's on the bottom of a sink, to 3/4 hose, which is what's on a standard garden hose. And I'm not going to run it here, but I'll describe. What you do is you turn on the faucet, and you have to plug the sprayer outlet with your finger, and then you run that into a jug. In our case, we measured 2 quarts, and my wife Sandy ran the stopwatch. So we measured how long it took to fill the bucket with 2 quarts of water, and did that with a number of different configurations. We did it with the stock aerator, which I assume to be a 1.8 gallon per minute. We also put in this 4.5 gallon per minute, purchased off Amazon a long time, months ago. I also ran it with no aerator. I also ran it with the handle removed. And you'll not quite understand why that is until we look at the data here. You can see that I could read the pressure on my water system there, next to the red handle there, right in the middle of the screen, so that I knew I was kind of comparing apples to apples. So 42 psi, which is about the mid-range of a well system. Wayne Pumps, who's one of the big manufacturers, ships their pumps and only warrants them if they're adjusted to 30 psi turn on and 50 psi turn off. Now, there are many people who will suggest that you can turn those up, and they're right, but then you void the warranty and will be risking possibly damaging the pump, although I doubt that risk is very large, but you've certainly violated their warranty. Okay, then we ran with the stock aerator, the handle in the stock position, the number of seconds it took to fill it. Now, if you take 30 seconds and divide by this number of seconds, that'll give you your gallons per minute, because we're only putting in 2 quarts or half a gallon. So if you had 30 seconds and half a gallon, then that would be 1 gallon per minute. Right. So you can see the stock aerator with the handle as shipped gave us 1.12, which is substantially below the 1.8 advertised. But the 1.8 is also advertised at 60 psi, and that's what you'll get in a city. That's not what you'll typically get on a well system. I then did the same thing with it with no aerator at all, and it ran quite a bit faster, so that gave us 1.5 gallons per minute. But the water's kind of splashy and dribbly at that point. I then put in the 4.5 gallon per minute aerator with the handle and stock and got 1.4. So that tells us that that the aerator is doing something, but not a lot. But it appears maybe something else. So then I took the handle off and turned the handle past where it's designed to go. And I figured that out by looking up the bottom of the faucet, and sorry about that, the handle fell off. But if you look in there, and it's kind of hard to see, I'll get some better light here maybe, you can tell that the cartridge, the valve cartridge, doesn't open all the way. So that's one of the ways Delta has decided to restrict the flow, is by making the handle actually restrict the cartridge from opening all the way. So by turning the valve stem past the normal all the way on position, you can see we went from 4.5 aerator to 4.5 aerator, went from 1.4 gallons per minute to 1.78. So we can get almost the rated flow of 1.8, even though we're at only 45 psi, by simply modifying the bottom of the handle. Okay, and if we go back to the stock aerator, lo and behold, yes, Delta made sure they only put a 1.8 gallon per minute aerator in there, so it won't ever flow over the 1.8. Now, I'll show you. not doing this very well. The bottom of the handle has a couple of ribs in it, here and here. And those stop the handle in the closed position for this one, and that's the one that stops the handle from going too far open. So I'm going to take a die grinder and cut that one off, and then I'll be able to turn the handle farther than it's designed to go, and that will allow us to get pretty much the full flow that's advertised when the pump when we're using it in our house, as long as we use a bigger aerator. I might buy some other aerators, say 3s or 2s, and see if those work a little bit better than these 4.5s as far as stream quality. But one of the problems is, of course, now the handle will also turn a little bit past maximum. So actually, if you keep turning the handle, the flow will get high, and then if you keep turning it even further, it'll actually decrease a little bit, which will be a little odd for people who don't live in our house, but we'll get used to it pretty quickly. So that's Dave, Over Engineering Water Faucets. Bye.